met British people in America. I've met Somalians, Honduras, Guatemala. Like, I've met a variety of Spanish-speaking people, a variety of black people from all different types of places in Africa. There's a family who's really nice who lives up here who's from Somalia. They're pretty decent people, you know. I mean, we're all human. Most people share the exact same values and care and love for a majority of the things. And it's very rare and often, unless you got something mentally fucking wrong with you or something that's just haywire in your brain, that you don't feel that way. Or it's some type of religious indoctrination, or some type of indoctrination that makes you feel that way. That's really what it always fucking comes back down to. It's whatever belief that was put in your head since birth, and you follow it or you don't. Maybe that's the reason why it's so easy to start a cult. And maybe honestly, I don't want to start no cult. Only cult I want is a shekel and sex cult, and that's too devious, so there's no point. Like, if I'm going to burn in hell for all eternity, I'm going to make it worth my while. So, I don't know. People are strange. And I don't know, you know. Maybe it really does come down to that we should do what thou wilt. I know that's a very dangerous way of thinking and shit, but what does God really expect a man to do? You know, God tells you to rely on him for everything. You're supposed to pray to him for everything. You're supposed to, well, yes, you're supposed to work for your meal technically, because God allegedly doesn't like lazy people. But God can be lazy all day, every day up in the clouds. So I guess it's okay for him, but not for me. I don't know. Do what makes you happy, at least to the extent that it doesn't harm another creature, animal or human. You know, I can sit here and thump a Bible at you all day long, but, you know, in the end, I'm human too. And, you know, no point to sit here and pretend to be perfect, that's for sure. I'm not perfect by any means. What, at the end of the day, what's the goal? I don't know. Maybe to make you at least feel or think a little bit more human. Yeah, making shekels and lying on the masses, psyoping the masses. Yeah, it's fun, you know. But there's a reason why Andrew Wilson has to smoke like 3 packs of cigarettes on one fucking panel. So, you know, if you think he just smokes cigarettes because he smokes cigarettes, I hate to tell you, then you don't know what it means to smoke cigarettes when your nerves are being eaten up. Like, you know, yeah, I think being a genuine, compassionate human being outweighs pretty much just about anything on social media that's being held up to the standards of today. You know, even someone like Steve Irwin's son. You know, I had mad respect for Steve Irwin, regardless of whether or not he was owned by the establishment too. I had big respect for Steve Irwin and for the things that he tried to do while he was alive. And then you go and you look at his son, and albeit I have some respect for his son, I do really have a big problem with how Steve Irwin's son, just the image of him, because like when he first started off when he was younger, he kept his dad's image. You know, he really kept his dad's image to the extent of what it meant to be the crocodile hunter, what it meant to, you know, when you heard Steve Irwin, when you saw Steve Irwin, you thought of what it meant to be human and to be one with nature and to care and love about it. And in all honesty, I haven't even really gotten that feeling from his son, because why? I mean, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I honestly think Steve Irwin was killed because he was one of the good ones. I don't think. First of all, they're never going to release the footage that they claim that they had of the stingray killing him, so we don't really know whether or not the stingray killed him or not. But the point goes is, when you see his son's public perception, I'll just put it this way: I don't get the Steve Irwin feeling from his son the way that you really should. And it goes to say that, like, I'm not saying that he's still not doing some good in the world, but I mean, let's go and face it. I mean, people like Steve Irwin was one of the few good people who larped against the system, and sure, they were given a platform to do so. But in the end, Steve Irwin, sure, he may have helped open a few reservations here and there, and he may have gotten a few foundations going in his name, but in reality, that was only the best he was ever going to be able to do. One of the biggest things that Steve Irwin was against was the mechanization of the industry where he was living, about how much he was speaking out about the companies sitting here leaking out the damn chemicals into the water, into the very, places where he's going to help rescue these animals. And because of corporatism and all this other stuff, ruining it. How am I supposed to save the animals when by the time I get one out of the area, y'all have already deforested the whole entire next part of the, it was a constant ending thing. And even with now, no, you see Steve Irwin's son going and fucking taking pictures for a fucking photo shoot. Last time I checked, I don't remember Steve Irwin ever taking off his shirt and posing for a woman's magazine, because that's what it comes down to. His son is not here because it's to keep up the image of, well, we're supposed to care about the earth and its animals. That's literally what it is. Steve Irwin died and his name became a brand, which is why you had to pay like fucking $40 or $50 to get the little Steve Irwin set that they have on his website, because it's all about the money. Do you think Steve Irwin would ever force a child or a parent of a child to pay $40 to get something with his fucking name on it? No, he fucking wouldn't. But what did they do with Bob Ross? Oh, well, there you go. So for me, even if you are capable of managing and building up a good brand before you pass away, even if it's them taking you out or your own accord, it's only going to go but so far, to the extent of which you get the support stuff, like fucking when it comes to like the preservation thing. I can tell you, I've gotten a few people, but in reality, a majority of the people who I've tried getting into like the cleaning up group that I have around here, 6 people have remained interested in the idea that when summertime comes around, to actually go out here and create an actual battle plan to how we can go around in these neighborhoods where the city doesn't seem to care, and their own residents don't seem to care, and actually do some type of change when your own mayor is complaining about the state of the trash in your own city, but yet y'all are spending like $500,000 on a fucking highway out here. Well, I mean, that's your fucking problem, is because you're constantly trying to make this place feel like a little California. You're constantly trying to make it feel like a little New York. You all care more about the downtown tourism than you actually care about your own city's infrastructure, which is why when people do come here to visit, no one even wants to stay downtown anymore because of the amount of crackheaded homeless people that are down there. But then you go and you ask the city, why are the homeless crackheads out and so prevalent? They don't give you a real answer. Oh, you end up finding out that the mayor abused the city funds from the homeless about half a year ago. Oh, what did he spend the money on? A fucking casino. So, there you go. Don't worry about the homeless people. Don't worry about the crackheads. Don't worry about the violent offenders.
I wanted to ask you a question though, because you're saying like there's no difference between humans, black, white, whatever. It's like, okay, so like, is there no difference between a bulldog and a Shih Tzu?
I mean, if you want to do that kind of shtick, yes, there's obvious differences between whites and blacks. There's obvious differences, but in the whole grand scheme, I don't think there's much of a difference between different types of dogs, other than their penis
If
size.
you
Yeah.
if you mix a bulldog and a Shih Tzu, you have a bullshit zoo. So
Oh shit!
so so then the now you have a totally new kind of thing, and you're saying, well, they're all exactly the same,
No,
right?
no, no, no. He's saying that there's no superior bloodline.
I mean, it's funny that only white people
I mean, that's what
even
I'm
care
saying.
about that. It's just
That's what
funny
I'm
that
saying. But I
yeah, but
think
I
that's
mean,
what he
like,
was saying.
if you go to any other culture in the world and you say there's no such thing as a superior bloodline, they're gonna like
Yeah.
laugh in your face, like,
They
why would you
might.
even bring that up? Essentially, right? Like,
They
let's
might.
ask let's ask this foreign man down here about his experience around the world. So, foreigner, what do you think? Do you think that people around the world believe in this altruistic? There's
But
nobody's
but
better than
also but
anybody else.
also let's keep in mind that like no two Mexicans are the same.
I mean, a lot of them sure do look pretty much the same, and they
But
act
they're
the same, and they
not.
dress the same, and they get their
They're
haircut the same,
they
and they
would rec-
talk the same.
they wouldn't think that they're the same as individuals, but then they get into these ideas of nations, that the governments have like made them believe and stuff. And so like yeah, and then it's just kind of like goes up from there, but like yeah, everyone's an individual, I would say. I think that's fair to say.
Hey,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm a
I
second
mean,
generation immigrant, so I'm not technically a foreigner, second gen.
I know I'm just being a dick about it, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like
okay,
in
yeah. But
general, do you
anyway, my
think that
opinion
other
is that
do you
my
think
opinion is
anyone other
that
than white people have these thoughts though, or is this like a unique thing that
Yeah,
we have?
for sure,
my
dude. They
opinion
all
is
think
that
about it.
the white people, I think that Germanic, like Moontan says, is both a language group and a race, and Mediterranean is kind of a race too. But of course, the two closely most related races are Mediterraneans and Germanic people. I think the problem is just the word white and black. Like black, why not just call them sub-Saharan African? Because there are there are sub-Saharan Africans that look East Asian, believe it or not.
Like I think also you could say, and I'm not 100% right, but like you could say the biology of different races, it pretty much all works the same, right? There's not even like a major difference where you're like, well, black people have to get this type of blood, and
Yeah, well,
white
why
people
call
have
them
to.
black? The Bantu. Just call them Bantu because that's what they
I
are.
would
They're
say I
Bantu.
would like to say melanated people,
And I think
but
Bantu
I got
because there
kidding.
are before the Bantu expansion, there were different ethnic groups or races in Africa, and some of them they did genocide. Like
I
forgot
want
their
to
name.
ask.
They're
I
like
want to ask.
Herschel.
I want to ask Lorp if I was correct in my assumption, which I will admit is an assumption, that when he's talking about the
Yeah,
not seeing the differences as problems, but seeing understanding that there's differences. But when I was saying that, I thought that he was saying that there's no superior bloodline. Emperor Lorp, was I
I do
correct?
think bloodlines have differences. Like, let me explain. Like, but the people I was
Of
talking
course
about were
they
called
do.
Khoisan people, Khoisan. Africa had a lot of different looking people that look like them, and when the Bantu
Sure,
expansion happened, they were
sure.
slaughtered. They were slaughtered, and they were driven to extinction. Many of them. So, saying black doesn't make sense to me. Saying
All right.
Bantu or Poison or something, it's like saying white. What does white mean? There are people in the Caucasus, okay? Even my
Right.
family, my dad's line, they look lighter than, I don't know, someone like it's Southern Italians, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean we're like, the
The
same race as
Caucasus,
Western Europeans. Yeah, let me
the
finish.
Caucasus Mountains have
Yeah.
they have Circassian.
Yeah, Circassians and Lyskins and Georgians and Armenians, and there are many
Right.
different ethnic groups.
It's kind of like being like I'm a New Yorker. It's
Yeah.
like, are you really, or is that just a man-made label? Like,
No, I think there are some genetic clustering. You can look at the physiognomy. You can look at the race. I think there's some relativity involved, though. But I would say like Northwest Central Europeans constitute their own race. Southern Europeans constitute their own race. And
Yeah.
Caucasus people and Iranian people are kind of close. I would say they're like their own race. They're actually distant from Arabs. I don't really
I
like
don't.
Arabs. I don't really talk about it much, but I don't like Arabs or Jews. But I don't like going around and
I
picking
didn't.
fights with them. But I sense no brotherhood with Arabs. I don't really like them. Yeah. Well,
I didn't
probably
mean.
know.
I didn't mean to take away from Lorp's point. He was going on a decent riff there about
Race is
the
very important. Race
corruption
is
in the
very important. You want
positions.
to maintain the purity of your lineage. Even
Yeah,
Buddha.
dude, bro. There's been like peoples for like at least 6,000 years, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
You guys just do your best, based on what you can tell, and based on modern genetic tools can give some ideas, stuff like that. I've used the genetic tools. You have to, and
Well,
also the names and the regions, stuff like that.
so I heard this argument yesterday by a person named Handsome Truth, and I thought it was a very interesting argument he put forth. So I'll put it forth in a very polite way. So he said this so there's a guy from Nepal, and the guy said, "Well, I came to America because Nepal became a communist country, and they started killing a bunch of people."
Okay.
And Handsome Truth said, "No." He said, "Okay, so you're a race traitor. You betrayed your people to come here for
No.
opportunity." And then he said, "Yeah, I'm a capitalist. I want to make money."
Mm,
And
okay.
then he's like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "That's the problem. Is like all you guys come here just for money. You don't care about the people who are here." He's like, "How come white people don't go flee to your country and you take care of them? Like, why do you guys have to come to our country and like want to be a part of our
But
stuff?"
see, it's
Right?
a complex matter. You
Um,
see, the thing is, white people. Not, I don't like saying white. I don't know what Western European.
Western European.
Western Europeans. They go around and they invest and they create I don't know, factories, and they also extract resources, but mainly that's to support the industrial system. Other races do the same thing, but it has to do with the
Yeah.
nature of the global industrial system. No country is self-sufficient or energy independent
Correct.
in this day and age.
Correct.
Also has to do with the global reserve currency. Like let's say,
Right.
it has the complex economic reasons for this. But when a country trade oil, they have to trade it in U.S.
Yeah, but
dollars.
but but my point is that like Germanic and Dutch people and English people and Scottish people and Welsh people and French people and Italian people and all these kind of people, they have a particular like way of doing things that has allowed this like safety net to grow. So the point is like you can't why can't people in Nepal just take what we've done and do it where they're at, right?
Well, think about it, because the refrigerator and even the semiconductors are not manufactured in your countries. They're not manufactured domestically. You see what I mean? Like that's why America
Yeah, but I'm
makes a
not.
big
I'm
deal.
saying I'm not talking about the technology. Though. Let's just
Yeah.
take technology out of the picture. Let's just talk about the idea that people come here for like a quote unquote opportunity of like trust, right?
Yeah, but
Like the economy works is the economy is based on trust, right?
Yeah.
Like without
yeah.
trust, the economy does not exist
Yeah, but
in
I'm
the
No,
way.
saying
no.
that
There's a
what I'm
lot of
trying to
trust
make is
everywhere.
that
A lot of
the
trust
point I'm
everywhere.
trying to make.
I want to ask Neuro. Like I understand what he says when he says here. He means America. And then my mind goes to are you aware that it's a corporation? Are you aware that it was what I know you're aware of a lot of things that show the shadiness of and usury that this country was built on. And the
Oh
fact
yeah,
that
I agree.
and the
Yeah.
fact that like legal states are just fucking figments of man-made imaginations.
No, I don't agree with either one of you. You see, Browns boy, you lean a little too liberal. I think the thing is, you see, every
Okay.
country well, not every country, but many countries have done empire building.
What
So
are
did
what do you know that you're protecting that I don't understand?
Yeah. Well, you see, what I'm saying is that you say America was built on usury, and it was built on
Of course it was.
yes. So pretty much every empire was. So is what I'm trying
Right.
to say. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah,
there.
like I get and again, like I'm trying to make a separation between like a nation and a state. Like, yeah, there's problems with the state. I mean, frankly, I think there's less problems than people realize. Like, for example, right? Like, if the people of the America just outright said, "I don't want to deal with usury," usury would go away in about one day, right? But people don't believe in that, so it doesn't go away, right? So
Well, go away one day.
figments of people's imagination matter,
Right,
right? So like
right.
people believing something or not believing in something
Yeah,
changes the state of the world, right? So
right. Neuro, I want to say to what you're saying, it makes me think of what I call outsourced trust. Because you were talking about how like the whole system runs on trust. Dude, the point is that they've got us on they've got us out on the pirate ship on the plank, and they're saying, "You trust us, right? You trust us, right?" Like the trust that's there is outsourced, and it's not a real form of trust, but they've got us believing that what we're doing is a form of trust in the nation, in the state, in the county, in the city. Like when you think about it, who can you really trust? Really nobody, man.
sure, yeah.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: is like if everybody stopped trusting everybody now, by tomorrow, like half the population will be dead, and by the end of the week, 95% of the population will be dead, right? So like things don't get done without trust. Like whether it's fictional or not, whether it's smart or not,
right.
like you can't
But
change human
but the
nature
people
overnight, right?
but the people have been taught to in what to trust, and it's the wrong shit.
I mean, wrong in what way? I mean, more people are alive today than ever before in history. So, I mean, to the
Yeah.
average person, they can't really see it that way, right?
Let me just
Even if
say,
you're
if you
correct.
want to
I
fix things,
understand
you
that.
need to do two things. You destroy all the supply chains. You need to destroy the global communication networks, and then things will naturally, uh, reorient themselves and become better. People will naturally drift into
Well,
their own local community.
it's going to get a lot worse before it ever gets any better.
Yeah, well, that's
I
true.
mean, you're going to destroy ecosystems. You're going to destroy
Yeah,
peoples. You're going to destroy,
yeah,
health. You're going to destroy a lot of things in the process, right? So, like,
yeah,
there's going to be a creative destruction, maybe, but it's still destruction nonetheless, right?
yeah. I'm gonna
And
share
again, I'm
something.
not just being a dick about it. I'm just saying like
Yeah,
there,
Right, right.
I'm trying to say that like people's blind obedience and blind trust, you can see it as a bad thing, but
Oh
also
yeah,
like it's not really a bad thing because
it is.
it's animals' nature to take the path of least resistance. If you're trying to walk up a giant mountain, you don't go straight up it because it's not the least resistance. You go at an angle, right? So most people just go wherever food and
Follow.
resources and happiness or whatever
Yeah,
pleasure leads them, right? So
yeah,
yeah. I prefer about the bloodline thing again.
yeah.
I think I like strict caste system and in medieval settings, stuff like that, with knights and with priests and with the
well,
farm.
that still exists now. It's just a lot more sophisticated.
No,
Like
it doesn't exist anymore. It's too fluid and mobile now. What I mean? It's not hereditary based. What I mean? It's not like
well, it
It's definitely
probably is at a
technique.
certain level. But,
It's technique based for sure. Or yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I want to say yeah. It's not like that anymore.
well,
You must
yeah, but
follow these rules in order to da da da. Like that's total technique.
well, it's technique based in a sense, but in another sense, like you don't really have the same access as like Sam Altman or Elon Musk because of
That's
the families
true.
or positions they were put into, right? So it's not equal across the board, though, right?
Can I share something? I
No,
want to share
you're
something
right.
cool, and like it's not cool, but it's depressing stuff. Like two stuff is related to technique and industrialization. It's two trailers for something. It's not against copyright, I think, because I don't think so. Mhm. Can I share it? Like, oh no, it's and then you can talk about it. Is that yeah?
You gotta ask Lorp, the Lorp master over there.
Yeah. Can you share my screen or no? Or I guess not.
By the way, I wanted to say I did some thinking about the word LORP, and I personally love it. I think it's like almost it probably is the fullest extension that you can take the word LARP and I just love it. I think it's I think it breaks barriers personally.
Please, over here. Come, talk to me first. I can explain what's going on.
What is existence, really? Surely a question without an answer. Your father thought he knew, and it inspired him to grant wishes.
Is that a nightmare?
That's why all of us are here. You want to
Can
understand?
we pause
to
it?
know.
I was just curious what you guys thought so far of it, because I don't know what to make of it.
It's like there are 2 horror games were announced, and they're both about the creepy cyberpunk technological futures. I wanted to show both trailers, and it's very
Right.
nightmarish. You see what I mean? Look at how nightmarish this looks.
Yeah, but I mean, like, based off what they said so far, I don't know he kind of said, like, your father thought this thing was going to be good, and so now you're here. Like, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
Is it? Yeah, it's like social engineering or predictive programming.
Then you have to step beyond the walls surround you. Play your father's game.
Hmm.
Like deep brain stimulation or like neural link. That's like neural link. Right.
Play your father's game. Push the very limits until even reality itself breaks.
This
Yeah.
tiny robot mouse
Yeah,
can
that
finish.
was it. And there's one more trailer I want to show, but yeah, you can see how nightmarish that is, you know, and you know, that's the future and the nightmare stuff we're moving towards. Maybe it's already happened before in the past. Here's one more trailer, another horror game based
That
on.
trailer looked like it was meant to confuse me. I don't know. You know, I'm leaving judgment open, but
I think it's just that, like, you know, actually, they play one of their games. It was called Soma. It's a horror first-person game, and it dealt with like some, you know, some similar ideas. So I kind of know what it's conveying. It's just conveying body horror in relationship to losing one sense of localization to this body as a consequence of being cybernetically augmented and crap like that. But anyway, I want to show this other trailer, you know, about and this one's creepy too, but this one was released in around the same time.
A 100 years ago, humans moved up into those huge, ugly towers and left the machines behind to run things for them. Left alone for a century, the machines evolved in ways no one could predict. A new species, trying to survive, fighting for scraps, searching for truth. An abandoned, poisoned wasteland, crawling with creatures beyond imagination. Down here, humans don't belong. For those who left the city, it's a one-way ticket. They go for a reason. This evolution of the machines was not random. There's something vast behind it. And it's coming for behind it.
Look at the puppet strings. It's like it's kind of like wires attached to that, like a mannequin. It's in the visuals or something else. It's very creepy stuff, though. Yeah.
And it's coming for everyone, not just the machines. The people in the cities don't know it yet, but soon they will. They all will.
Yeah, I just wanted to show those two and stuff. Yeah, what do you think about it, Lorp?
Predictive programming at its finest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I wanted to show it. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how it's coming around this time. Yeah, and stuff. Yeah, but also something else I wanted to say. I forgot. Oh yeah. Maybe I should have kept my screen. I can show some other more stuff though. But yeah, it seems like almost every horrifying thing that we talked about regarding technology is coming true. Like the sci-fi stuff is coming true. All the horror stuff.
Yeah. I didn't really put that much emphasis into it before I met TML, but since knowing him for the last a little over a year, the gravity and the reality behind of which now I realize how big of a role technology really is playing in it. It is concerning. Even if we're, a few hundred years away from even some of the most, mundane of the cyberpunk technology, you would actually go and shock some people if they realized how many people actually support the whole Eldrian, or how do you say the Cthulhu type horror
Eldritch.
stuff.
Eldritch.
Yeah, Eldritch. Yeah, there's a lot of people who actually I never really thought about, but yeah, there's actually if you go in like some of the YouTube videos and them type of videos and look at the comments, there's a lot of people who aren't all that. That's why Markiplier with that stupid Iron Lung game, that's why his dumbass, made a fucking movie about it. It's because they want people. First of all, I don't know about you, but who wants to be stuck in a submarine in a sea full of blood after all of life has basically disappeared from the cosmos? But the point is there's a reason why he got that movie made, and I mean, look at the psyoping behind it. It's the whole point is he's a convict, I think, or whatever, and there's an event known as like something rapture or whatever, and like all habitable planets, moons, and I think stars in the galaxy completely disappear with no real reasoning, and random oceans of human blood started popping up on random planetoids and whatever, and so they send him out to investigate the blood. And deep down inside, when you really study it, nothing about the fucking shit makes sense. They claim it's a story about isolation and how to, basically, how to remain sane when you're alone. But when you look at it at a deeper meaning, I mean, it's the same thing with like Attack on Titan. People see Attack on Titan as, oh, it's just a fucking, anime about a bunch of people who, use, hydraulic gear to fly around and cut open, a bunch of giants, necks. Then you realize like, no, there was people inside the giants. And then you start looking at, oh, wait, there was giants inside the city the whole time. But then you look at the metaphor with all the other animes, stuff like Full Metal Alchemist. And then you start to realize that when stuff like this is mass produced and put in your face, it's not because they want to get a Game of the Year award. So, you know, when I see that kind of stuff like there, like when Black Ops 7 came out, they were pushing monarch, butterfly, one eye symbolism, all in Call of Duty for Black Ops 7. They literally had the dude walk into the office while a holographic monarch butterfly is flying around and then flies into the screen. He goes to touch it, and then he, you know, it's like reality breaks for him and the screen starts to break. Like they're putting in your face exactly what it is that they're attempting or already had the ability to do. From what I witnessed, they already had this technology. So whether or not that means that they can actually extend their life 1,000 years, I don't know that. But when you start to look at history, it does really make you wonder, maybe some people can live longer if they do some type of, I mean, look at Mr. Rothschild. He, you know, claimed to have several heart transplants. So I don't know about you, but I mean, my grandma had like one open heart surgery and it basically almost killed her. So
one or two things they could do is I think they do these plasma transfusions that gives them like their body's new plasma, and also there's just like cleaner resources that they probably have access to in general. Like if you're part of a family that is above the military, and who knows kind of what's around Antarctica, like you know, like the firmament has different qualities apparently, you know, according to the government. You know, not a great source there, but they'll say that the firmament is made of this thing called like blue ice or something like that, where it's like the sky.
Ice,
yeah, okay, sky ice, yeah. So like, you know, dude, there could be just pure forms of water. I mean, clearly they're putting terrible forms of water in every single city across everywhere. You know, those are just two things.
Yeah.
But as far as the alien stuff, man, like I don't doubt you at all. Actually, I really don't. You know, I just have my reasons for not doubting that.
Well, coming from you, that means a lot. But no, I gain absolutely nothing about lying about it, what I saw that night. Like, wow,
No,
it's a cool story for me to LARP about. Like, no.
I could tell you. I'll tell you like a story that was told to me. I mean, right? But like, so my dad and no, my dad's father and his brother and my dad's brother, they were driving in like probably like I think it was like I don't even know where it was, right? It was probably like West Coast. It might have been in Washington, Tacoma, Washington, maybe, right? But dude, they saw a fucking like a UFO, right? That was apparently the size of an entire football field. And like the way my dad tells me the story is his dad and his brother came home and then like frantically went to go draw. He said his dad told his brother to draw what you saw. We're both going to draw what we saw. And yeah, man, it was like a massive fucking UFO. Like, yeah, man. So there's more questions than answers there. But I personally have a feeling that the aliens, so to speak, have always been here. Like you've never been alone. Like you've never been alone. But you know, we've never been alone, basically. And so you know, I don't know how that all plays out, really. But if I was the government, I would try to psyop the people into thinking aliens were bad. You know, because for whatever reason, you know, that's kind of what the government does all the time is they try to say everything that's usually good for you, they'll usually tell you that it's bad for you. You know, I'm not saying every case, but a lot of the time. You know how it is, man. Intricate design psyops to like levels upon levels.
Trust me, I get what you're saying. It is funny that the common trope in most alien movies, like with The Day the Earth Stood Still, is shoot first, ask questions later. I do agree. One of the first things they do is they'll take something good and invert it and claim it's bad for you. So, I mean, I get what you're saying about the aliens, but You know, I am one of the people who will say that if aliens were all that just evil, you know, it would be a lot different. So, I mean, I'm on the fence about it, but, you know, until we see motherships coming down.
Think about this. If I was the government, I'm telling you right now, I would LARP as the aliens. Like, for sure.
That would make sense.
You know, and then so there would be two versions of there'd be like a real version, and then it'd be like the fake version of what they're trying to portray as real, which we clearly see. You know, they're going to make sure that we see it. So, like, I can't tell you how, but you know, it's not just one-sided. You know, there's got to be good ones for sure. And you know, the government probably fucking psyop the aliens a little bit too. They're probably like, oh yeah, you should work with us. You know, man, we got all this territory and shit. Like, I don't know if the government's like so influenced by the aliens that they just don't know what's going on. Like, there's no way. They probably have an idea of what's going on like a high level. No.
No, I agree. You know, to which the extent of what it means, I mean, who knows? I mean, I've never personally met an alien, so I can't tell you if they're good or not. You know, what I've experienced has not looked like an alien. So, except for the UFO itself, that's about as alien as things. But, you know, I consider an octopus in the ocean more alien than half the shit I see in a sci-fi movie. So, you know, I'm on the fence about it, but personally, I just, you know, with me being a Christian Brown's boy, you know, I'll put it this way, I'm open to entertaining the fact that the aliens are actually like God's side, and they're trying to like portray them as like some evil race from the stars here to like butt probe us. But I mean, you know, in the end, I take the information that I have, and based on its validity, like for someone like me, automatically I see a UFO coming out of the cosmos, you know, where everyone else is going to follow. I'm going to be more open. You know, is it going to be like War of the Worlds where, you know, they all come out blowing sirens and evaporating us? Or is it going to be Mars Attacks where, you know, they act like our friend there for a second, but oh no, we, you know, let a dove go and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. I mean, who knows if aliens are a real thing? Who knows? Are they, you know, the fucking Vulcans? I mean, just based on my observation, if there's an intergalactic species that are capable of doing what I saw that night and claiming and doing what the government claims they're doing, we're already their slaves, we're already their food, or it's the X-Files and we're working for them because it's better to work for the lesser evil than the worst one that's out there that's coming to mess with us. I mean, who knows, dude? I just know that what I experienced in my earlier life, that by the time I had experienced that UFO, I'm not gonna lie, even to this day, even with the witness, we don't know, because I mean we're technically both Christians, but even I myself, I often wonder what was the point of that, because I'm telling you, from where we saw it, from where it was, if there was, and you know how people go walking on the beach at nighttime, even though you're not supposed to because it's dangerous. Not a single fucking person on that entire beachfront screamed, gasped for air, said, "What the fuck was that?" or nothing. So the fact that only the two of us saw it, you know, I don't know. What was the purpose? I mean,
yeah.
You're either going to worship the aliens when they land, or you're going to, you know, join the military and, you know, like they did with and War of the Worlds with, you know, Tom Cruise's son. You know, you're going to have to fight your son. Like you know, maybe when my son turns 17, I'll have to stop him from wanting to walk up the hill and fight the aliens. I don't know.
Well, have you heard of the dark forest hypothesis? Dark forest hypothesis.
Yes.
No.
And I get that, and I get that. But I'm just, okay, look, man, as someone who's already witnessed the technology, they were already here if that's what that really was. So I don't put no emphasis into any theory that claims that the universe is so big or wide, or, you know, if there was ancient civilizations, you know, eventually they just faded off into obscurity. You know, I know the theories of what you're talking about. I'm just saying that, but considering the fact that I saw that personally right there in front of me, tells me that, like Brownswood just said, they were most likely all already here. I don't think they're flying off into the, Uranus to go and see the stars for the night. I think that they are basically stuck here, just like we fucking are.
They're here, but they're disguised as humans. Basically, Dark Forest hypothesis is the idea that extraterrestrial civilization may exist in abundance across the universe, but remain silent and hidden out of fear that revealing themselves.
What makes you both believe that this is even Earth? Let's just start there. How do you know that this is Earth?
I get that. Okay. But come on, man.
I'm not trying to take it. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to take it into oblivion.
But once you open up those can of worms, then I'll just put it this way: if there's even an inkling that this isn't the original planet that we were from, then you know absolutely nothing, and you should be a good little automaton and take your fucking brain chip because there ain't nothing here for you.
In this game called Nine Souls, the aliens are actually feline humanoids, and they take human beings and they're like created a simulation for them to live out their lives, and they actually take their brain matter and they're creating a big supercomputer based on the brain matter of human beings because they're doing that to it's an interesting game. It's like a mix of Taoism, cyberpunk horror, and and it's called Nine Souls, and it has a lot of weird stuff to it too.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't give a fuck how this makes me sound. I am actually not convinced that we're even on Earth. Now, there's a lot of evidence to support that you are, right? Because you've been told so. And how many generations does it take to brainwash people? People? Not that many, man. Like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I used to think that too.
It's not like there's like solid ground for everyone to stand on to and I don't know.
Yeah, play Nine Souls. I recommend playing Nine Souls if you're into games because that actually deals with that idea, believe it or not. Like basically there's a simulation for the human beings and they're kept in a superstitious primitive mindset because their brains are being harvested to feed into the neural supercomputer because they're like using that neural supercomputer to manufacture a cure from their own planet or something. But yeah, that game is interesting. But
I'm not going all into that, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think what makes a human not an extraterrestrial?
Yeah, I don't know. We do.
No. Seriously, like what is it? Define what a human is, right? But what are we going to use? Are we going to use current science to define that? Get fucked. You know what I mean? Like, that's definitely part of it. That's what we've all been taught, but that's clearly not the only part of it. What it means to be a human being, right? Like, they can tell me anything they want. I'm just not inclined to just believe and what I was telling Neurojack, outsourcing trust. Why would you need to outsource trust?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, yeah. I mean, anything is possible now. Like the Truman Show, but instead of there being humans behind the screen, there are probably some, I don't know, beings from underground or aliens or from.
The point is, we don't know of any technology as a people. We don't know of any technology that can go, so far down in the oceans. There could be entire cavernous openings, like that. There's total 100% you never heard of what could possibly be there is there.
Like
and all you say is like, oh, the TV said so. So it must be.
It's all fun and games till you find out a bunch of Gungans live under, like in Naboo. Gungans, Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars.
Dude, the underground tunnels, the intercontinental underground tunnels are weird enough.
I mean, I will admit that I've often been the one that said that, you know, when you tell people that, like, if you took all the water right now that we know of that's been here since we've been alive, like, y'all do realize that most of that water isn't where it used to be, and they're like, huh, what, the water never moved. I'm like, oh my god, like, when
That's
you realize
retarded,
that majority of people really don't understand, like, you know, I'm not saying that Pangea isn't real, but I don't think Pangea is the truth. I think it's a lot more than we were just one landmass. But
dude, there's underground rivers. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, for real, there's like elite people have spent money to
oh no, that's why Resident Evil and other things put in your face that they have gigantic underground water bases. Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate LARPing about the video games and the movies, when Resident Evil sits here and puts in your face that, you know, they have a European branch underneath the ocean where they run experiments with little New York cities, yeah, I fucking believe it because it makes fucking sense.
I don't discount that. I never heard that. This is the very first time I ever heard that, and I honestly don't discount that. There's probably even like small continents that they don't even tell us about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even things that are visible, they're probably not telling you about, let alone things that aren't visible.
Yeah, something like Dagon or like
deep underground military bases are real as far as I'm concerned. I'm operating on that as if that's true. I feel confident in that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No, the
who
question
knows?
is,
Bro, your politicians could be cloned. Think about that.
It would surprise me. You know, have you seen those videos?
I'm sorry, that's starting to sound like my LARP Browns boy. That they've been in the bunkers for quite some time, and everything we see right now is either AI, a robot, or a clone.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos of the politicians where it looks like they have a handler and they're like the politicians look like
I've seen they do this with sports athletes too. Yeah.
Yes. It's not normal stuff, you know. And people think, oh, it's just normal, and so it's like freaking. I don't know. Like maybe they have something implanted in their brains. Maybe they're clones. Maybe they're robots. It's hard to tell. But one of those or something.
It has something to do. I think it has something to do with linking your REM, your sleep or whatever, because it has to do with your, like, dude. There's certain things you can't escape, like brain waves. Okay, like, okay, yeah, we can only like see so much of that activity, but like still, if I'm gonna believe, because like there are some things I will believe, like to some extent. Like brainwaves, dude, the different versions of brainwaves and how almost all technology is set there to put you into alpha brainwave state, admittedly, to make you and like what they say alpha brainwave state does for a person is like make them extremely programmable. Like
you're saying
90% programmable. Like they're literally telling you we are changing your brain waves by using radiant frequencies, ELF wave frequencies, HARP, stuff like that, and like the food that you eat.
It was like the clip I showed you from the movie Scanners. You remember that clip I showed you of the guy's head exploding? You know, he was doing all that telekinesis stuff, and then that guy's head exploded. It's like that movie Scanners. Kind of. Remember that? Oh no.
No, dude, you know what brainwaves are, right? I mean, alpha, beta, theta, delta, whatever.
It's synchronizing the brainwaves, you know. But I don't know if brainwaves have that.
If you can control a human's brain wave functions by various means that they tell you about.
Okay, yeah. You're saying with new technology. Okay, yeah, I see. You're not saying with their minds. Okay, with their technology. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't think
so. Like one of the ways I've heard it described, and I haven't like deciphered it clearly yet, but it's we just mimic and behave Babylon brain waves. So like
I swear I've heard something like that too before. I'm sorry, that was just interesting.
Modern day incarceration is the modern day slave trade. So like, dude, it's like there's something to do with brainwaves. There's something to do with REM sleep. There's something to do with the melatonin production
Yeah.
that turns into like DMT in your body. Like there is
Yeah.
things
I
that you
worked in
can
a
do
lab with
physically for
EEG.
yourself.
But
Huh?
the thing is, all of this stuff will be underground. You know what I mean? The more advanced stuff. Because when I worked in my EEG lab, that stuff really was more. What's the right word? More primitive.
Versatile.
Yeah, it's not as advanced as what they have in DARPA. You know what I mean? Like the EEG nets you use. I mean that because it has low spatial resolution, but it has high temporal resolution. We are working with what is called event-related potential, and EEG. On your
Speaking of,
neural on
I
the
know what you're
neural.
talking about, dude.
Yeah,
Speaking of,
yeah,
can you look someone up online right now? I'm very
yeah,
curious to get your personal take on this because of your experience.
yeah.
His name is let me guess. Let me think. I remember. Let me guess. Let me think. Remember.
Yeah,
It's
just put it on the private
okay, I
channel.
know what it is. I know what it is. His first name is Martin
Okay.
and his last name is Gremlick. I think it's Lick, and he's from Switzerland. And this has to do with the DARPA QEEG shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
how convenient! It just happens to be in Switzerland, as if there's nothing strange going on over there.
Yeah. That's probably one of the strangest ones. Yeah.
Dude, all three of us should put in some money. We could all live in Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland is probably one of the safest, though, I think. Yeah, I'm
No,
looking at
you
Martin.
definitely would be able to join a cult there if that's your main goal.
Yeah, I'm
I
checking
think
his
he's
stuff. It's pretty long stuff. Yeah, like maybe this one. Yeah, or I don't know. That seems mostly. Yeah, check it out.
whatever stands out to you that you think could bring something to what we're talking about, or like what
Yeah,
you know what you're doing.
I'll share. Yeah, this one. I'll share it, but maybe fast forward a little bit or something because it's a long video.
Is it a video?
Yeah, Martin Gremlin.
What about his websites?
Oh, you want to look up his website? Not
I
videos.
would think I was introduced to this dude's website.
Oh, yeah, his videos on YouTube. His videos on YouTube.
I didn't even know he had videos. Sure, whatever you want to do.
His name is Martin Gremlich. Gremlich. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he has videos on YouTube.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, see what you guys think about this guy. I'm just letting you know I heard about this dude. All right, listen to this. My friend that I played sports with growing up, like ended up kind of like working with this dude. So that's that's the reason why I know about who this dude is. But with Avian's neuroscience background, he'd be able to like really break some shit down from what this dude's probably saying.
Yeah, well, it's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years since I got that degree. And
Yeah, okay, dude. Still.
yeah, yeah.
Please don't sell yourself short here. We're counting on you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You can share the screen. Yeah. So basically, this is his stuff. I also saw his website, but let's see here. Biology of brain injury, electromagnetic frequency effects on physiology. Let's see. Genes and pipe dreams mirrored narratives. You see that Freemason stuff? What's that? RFK Jr. and Children's Health Defense Project on Genomics. And I speak about Dr. David. What's this? Let me see this.
Lies quite a bit in Canada.
It's strange stuff. Matt the Unseater. What did he say? Speak about European Parliament's Christian Anderson. Color. Here. Someone else. That's amazing. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Mechanism of health effects, radio frequency, and ELF. Yeah. You see. And then you just find videos where I thought I saw something about transhumanism. Yeah. The future of human nature, transhumanism, dehumanization, and virtual worlds.
That sounds great.
And that does sound great. Neural field. What's this? All this here.
I'm not saying I think this dude knows a bunch of shit. I'm just saying this dude thinks he knows a bunch of shit.
The background.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's Martin Grimleth brain apology made that one. I just clicked it.
This is not a speech like that. It's meant. It's just I'm sharing a couple of thoughts with you, and please feel free that I don't know. And this led Aristotle to a very specific way of doing science, which is a little bit different from what is fashionable today in academia. The procedure, cell, organs, organisms in function, in action, with their particular anatomy, employing a dimension. For instance, withdraw oxygen out of your environment, permanent physical damage or chemical damage to the anatomical structure, allows extreme energy efficiency, very high tolerance at what is stress. The definition of term stress is very simple. It's the strain a force executes on an object. Plants and fungi, for them, this is true. Their anatomy is built in a way that it can passively withstand considerable strain. Remember the executive organ, our central nervous system. An activity of an organism which is assumed, not granted. The sequent data processing step the brain has.
Yeah, see here. This is the important part. Brain waves, radio broadcasting, global, entire organisms, electromagnetic, instantaneous speed of light, contained Faraday cage. Yeah, and that's the peripheral nervous system, intercom network, point-to-point, individual organs, bioelectric, fast regulated. So it's like integrated macros. The peripheral nervous system is endocrine system controlled via the peripheral nervous system. Hydro messaging, global delayed entire organism, biochemical slow persistent density regulation. I think most people's endocrine system is messed up due to all preservatives and other crap in our water.
It has to do with the two main glands, I believe, are the pineal and the
hypothalamus and pineal
and pituitary as well.
Yeah, pituitary, hypothalamus, and pineal. Yeah, that's right. Hypothalamus is also involved in that, I think. Right. Or not as much. Yeah, I think hypothalamus is involved.
I think the elite know. The elite know if they know how to fuck with these glands, they know how to rule people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but the thing is that most of the high advanced stuff would have to be underground or in the DARPA, because from what I learned, from what is on the surface, there's still like many still in its infancy, but I think DARPA knows way more, definitely. So control.
Maybe you should email this dude. Maybe you should email this dude.
Email this dude. Yeah, I would have to read more because it's been a while since I would have to ask more precise questions. So it's been over 10 years.
Yeah, but your it's been a while is it's almost never been. So what you have to say here is valuable about saying what maybe they're saying.
Yeah, the brain is so vast, you could just focus on one area your whole life. Other people focus on other areas like sleep. When I was in school, I think I focused mostly on neuroplasticity a lot, and so I focus on plasticity a lot. But let me see this stuff here. I remember learning some of this stuff though, but it's been so long. I see here.
Well, this is the stuff that I'm pretty sure DARPA fucks with.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, DARPA is above NASA. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true. Yes, DARPA is definitely. But NASA is more involved in social engineering. Well, DARPA is involved in just manipulating people, but actually invasively. You know what I mean? What is invasive?
They're using algorithms. As far as I know, they're using algorithms. That
Yeah.
and micro-targeted advertisements. Those are the two big things I know, and they're using them across all major platforms, and they're not using them for good reasons either.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, of course.
Like,
Yeah, I will definitely. I can back that up. I would say, except for maybe the few ads that get on YouTube who are sponsored by actual like high-end companies who
Yeah,
probably put like
absolutely.
millions. Yeah, the ads are not safe. If you just consume whatever, yeah, the ads are dangerous for sure.
Let me show you guys
Definitely
a good
avoid
channel.
the ads.
let me tell.
Good channel. Let me show you a good channel I found recently. Let me
I
see.
want to just make this known
Yeah.
to both of you guys. Is
If you clone a human
that
brain and then take that brain and put
the intel that I have, right, is that DARPA is using highly targeted algorithms based on your digital twin, which is basically all of your internet history ever, which is concluded by your devices that you use. But they're micro targeting in ways that I'm not like super familiar with, but I know it has to do with advertisements. And who knows what else algorithms can do? I personally don't. I'm not that smart. I'd love
I
to
can
know
tell you
more.
what I can tell you what they can do. You can be talking about a very taboo fucking subject, like why do a bunch of Middle Eastern men at corner stores for some reason like rubbing on your white child's hand, and then your phone starts to recommend videos of a bunch of Indian men on Facebook who look like they put their children in compromising positions for pedophiles. So I can tell you that a majority of the social media stuff that you interact with is to help promote and to help the pedophiles do what they do. That's why Facebook did absolutely nothing about the 3 pedophile Facebook groups that I exposed. And then within not even probably 8 hours later, their websites were completely gone. And it's been 2 years since I sent in that entire dossier on all the pedophile groups. And yet I've never heard a reply back. So, yeah, there's a reason why I've always done everything I could to never post a fucking picture of my child on Facebook or any other social media.
Let me tell you this too, because I had a friend, right, that he's like he was in what he called an anti-human trafficking group, right? So like and he really truly believed he was doing the right thing and everything, but I like, he he's my friend, and he lets me hit him with questions sometimes, and I said, dude, do you understand that you are probably in a group that actually aids human HT?
Oh, trust me, I've thought about that a lot, and it is
like,
strange.
No, because I was like, I was like, dude, like your group or whatever could just be finding small people to let the big people keep getting away with it. And he was like, you might not be wrong. Like that's just the position that these people, that anybody.
Well, I mean, what did just happen with the Pentagon? What did they just say, that thousands of workers were caught with CP on their computers? So I mean, yeah, keep telling yourself again. That's the world you're living in. Let's be real here and not mince words or terms of services. If anyone's a real pedophile, you don't genuinely hide it, and if you do, you're going to hide it so well no one's ever going to know, unless you're dumb enough to get caught and you do a background search. So I am one of them few people in life who believe that pedophiles, as well as serial killers like mass rapists, are some of the smartest, most calculated people on the planet. Because I can tell you, as from a majority of the cases, most of the people who were molested, let's just put it this way, there's a reason why most parents deny their own child's claims against their spouse. So it's just, unfortunately, it's something that runs rampant in this society, that a majority of people seem to defend. I mean, I hate to say it, but my sister was one of them people who thought the age of consent should be 15 years old, and I'm like, that makes no fucking sense to me. But okay, so again, it comes down to if you're someone like me, I think when you're 18 years old, you have the right to do what you want when it comes to a relationship. But let's just face it, people in this world are going to do what they want when they want it. That's why Epstein is probably most definitely still alive, just under a new identity. So
exactly. So I mean, yeah, take that into consideration, and also the fact that, like, dude, blood is important for some reason. It's more important to like these wacky people than it is to me. But it is interesting to consider, why do they think that blood is so important that they have to do sacrifices and shit like that. So like blood sacrifice, dude, has been around for at least 6,000 years. However long people have been here, dude, apparently there's been weird mother effers who want to do something and have a knowledge of why they want to do something with blood. The Mayans did it, or like the Aztecs did it. Like a ton of people, but like there's a what they call like an occult aspect to blood, where it's like
the blood is the life. Without blood, you cannot live.
Yeah, like dude, like the Aristotelian knowledge of today's empirical scientific system is not giving people the information of the bloods. And so what I'm trying to say is like the trades, we'll call them, the underground trades, we'll call them for now. Those things have been existing for however long people have been around.
Well, for sure, they're always going to.
Yeah, so so you could call it you could really call it like a very high form of currency. At least it seems like. No, it seems like you could call it that in these people's eyes.
Yes,
apparently
these people probably value the very horrible taboo things they do over silver and gold. That's why silver and gold and the money they print means nothing. That's why it's digital, because they can just tap in a bunch of different types of numbers and claim that I have $1 billion.
Right, and it would have been digital the entire time had they had the technology. It seems, or like maybe they didn't.
Check out this channel. I'm not sure if you ever seen her before, but she talks about a lot of crazy technological stuff. She did get kind of popular. For example, rats trained to play Doom in virtual reality can now shoot opponents. Lab-grown brains controlling virtual bodies.
Yeah, I just got that last night in my algorithms.
Yeah. Are chimras with clone brains technically people? Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff now that's happening. Also, let's see what's the most popular one. Let's see. Fungi can operate robots and speak 550 words on average.
Yeah, there you go. That's what that's the other one I just got. Yep.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I already knew that. I knew that back as far as 2013. I already knew that cordyceps could talk to each other because, the fucking Last of Us told us. It's nothing new, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, Last of Us, yeah. I actually
haven't played it. What the fuck is a cordyceps?
Yeah, researchers find raccoons
a fungi.
are domesticating themselves. Yeah, huge breakthrough in mind reading tech.
Into words.
Cordyceps are the parasites most known for taking over its host system.
Or brain scans being used
the zombie bugs or whatever.
You do not have one. Well, a group of Japanese researchers just answered that question, and yes, they can still read your mind. Even the researchers themselves said that this technology has the potential to be very dangerous, and we'll talk about it. Yes, we have known for some time that you can.
But we're gonna fuck with it anyway.
It's used for people who no longer have the ability to speak or just cannot communicate, so that they can speak using a interface. We've even seen technology like this used to decode inner images or even create images of people's brains. But for people who lack an inner monologue, that becomes more complicated because these systems are not designed to work from areas of the brain that are not interested in language. Well, what is the solution? Let's look at parts of the brain that are not used for language. Turns out that too can be decoded and gives us a lot of information about how people who don't speak to themselves in their heads actually communicate. For this study, researchers had patients look at hundreds of videos while they scanned their brain. Meanwhile, a computer would stand by and would analyze the data and turn it into words. Yes, it takes a technology
Isn't
that
it?
can look at images
Wouldn't
in
it
your
be
brain.
more weird? Wouldn't it be more weird if you did listen to yourself talk to yourself in your head?
No, I mean,
Like
if
when
you,
I think in like
No, I do it all the
like I
time.
hear
People say it's crazy, but I think if I didn't have that voice in my head, I would have done a lot more worse things than LARP online.
yeah, I think it's
yeah.
sensitive.
Like I'm just saying, like when I think of things and how they relate, I'm not necessarily having a conversation with myself. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
sometimes
I think I'm like
sometimes I create like depends on what I'm thinking about, but sometimes I do create personas that have their own identity, and then I debate them, and then I run a simulation in my mind of them debating or talking and stuff like that. And it depends on what you're thinking about. And sometimes I do talk to some other voice, and like that voice has its own identity, stuff like that. You see what I mean? Like it's like metacognition. When you get into higher levels of metacognition.
that's I feel like I like okay, like are you talking about like creating a persona?
No, I'm saying like running mental models in your mind, and it does like thinking for you. Stuff
Mental
like that.
models. Okay.
But I feel like there are different like
Yeah.
stuff in life, like I don't know, like when it comes to like more like stepwise rationality, like running a theorem, I think you have to like really focus everything, pinpoint it, and do that in a more stepwise way. It depends on what you're dealing with and stuff like different rational.
Right. I mean, it's like like people will say like Occam's razor, like, oh, don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity. But it's like the Occam's razor depends on how much you know. It's like if you're stupid, you're just fucking stupid. Like, you're gonna come up with a dumb answer.
Well, if I'm being honest, because of my experience with the Bible, although the voice that always answers, I mean, I can create my own voices in my head. If I want to hear Darth Vader say, I love you, I can do that. But I've often assumed that, that gut feeling, that gut instinct you had that people tell you to listen to. When I do my praying, it's as much as talking to myself as what I assume I'm talking to God. And that's what I'm saying about like the voice that's kept me out of trouble. I'm serious. I might not go out and do drugs and hang out at parties and hang out with drug dealers and do stuff like that. But like, if I did not listen to that voice who's like, don't go hang out with these people, don't go do this, don't go do that, I probably wouldn't be alive to talk to you right now. It's just simply because, you're young, you're going to go out and do something stupid, but it's not your parents who are telling you, giving you this bad, awful feeling. It was always that gut instinct, that inner voice that I would talk to. So whether or not that's me somehow connecting to the divine doesn't really matter to me. I just know that whatever that voice is that has kept me to the age I am now, if I didn't have whatever that rationale was, whether it's my own voice talking back to me, I probably wouldn't be here. So I can be stupid all day. I can tell you, I'm still alive, where a majority of my friends who grew up in the lifestyle that they grew up in have all killed themselves, overdosed, or died in some type of gang-related type activity. So, got to count for something, right?
Yeah, there's some unethical stuff they do. Like some rats are bred or even implanted with like human dish brains to be more intelligent, so that way they could be sacrificed and their brains can be studied better to make medicines or better ways.
That's right. Wonderful little lab rats.
Yeah. Well, when I went to
That's fucking
my
genius.
lab, it was kind of
Researchers
nightmarish. Like it's like walking into, there are like a bunch of tunnels, and you saw like all the rats through the glass panel. It's like they're like farming and breeding the rats. Stuff like that.
Oh, what's wrong? You don't want to feel like Will Smith when he walks down into the basement in I Am Legend. He's tapping on the boxes on all the rats trying to get to him.
to control it.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Actually, never saw that movie.
I heard they bred one of those rats with Buzz Aldrin's brain, and it fucking started talking, and it was like, "We didn't go to the moon, you dumb motherfuckers."
Yeah.
I mean, they grow ears on rats. I mean, who's to say, right?
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Oh yeah, this channel is nice. I do recommend this channel. Oh, Designer Babies. Yeah, they have that.
Uh-oh.
Too. Yeah. Lab Brain Biocomputers. We already talked about that, but euthanasia and enforced amnesia for conscious. What's that?
There's
For
a
conscious
new world out there
biocomputers.
that are compatible to be retrained. Yes, these guys act as tiny mirrors.
Yeah, that's
We can
interesting stuff. But it's true that the organoid intelligence is a new field and it's growing. Like people say I talk about it too much. That's because it's like a real field that's starting to like surface more. Like you're gonna hear more about it. It's not gonna remain fringe for like the upcoming years. You know, right now many people don't know about it, but more people will know about it in the future. Which is
Oh, it's just like that ad you just showed for that game. You know, they don't know, but they will.
oh wow, look at
researchers
this.
use tiny
Miniature
left
human
brains
brain
to operate a
give
dog bot and give
robot
it sensory
sensation.
feedback. Brain organoids are now normally in this field
That's
to react
crazy.
when light has been used to give robot sensation like taste, because it can take sensory feedback and turn it directly into electrical activity. And of course, it could be used to give
Yeah, this other guy, his name is Christoph Koch. He's a neuroscientist. I actually did talk about organoids a bit. You see, I'll just show that video a bit because it was interesting. You know, this guy is a real researcher. Yeah, here you go, this guy.
The ancient mysteries of consciousness are becoming more and more
He's a
urgent
big
societal
researcher in
questions.
AI research.
We're making more sophisticated AIs. We're growing
Right,
brain
this video
organoids.
didn't get that. Oh, you see here, he shows this. So basically, it shows like, you know, our computer will be somewhere here, intelligence, consciousness. See here that, but organoid intelligent, the organoid robots, which they do have now, will be above that because they do have like some sensation on the level of like bees or something. You claim.
Bro, why is he dressed like a monk?
This guy?
Yeah, like a prisoner monk. He looks like if Harrison Ford was a monk.
Yeah, he does kind of look like that. Yeah, I did read his book like 10 years ago, The Confessions of a Romantic Reductionist. But
Is he
yeah,
in
here he is.
prison? Why is he, dude? Why is he on a cinder block wall with a steel table, like with an orange jumpsuit on? Like it looks like they got this dude. It looks like they got this dude in like Guantanamo Bay, and they're like, "You better fucking read this script, motherfucker," and we're gonna put it out as science.
He actually has connection to Christoph Koch. Wait, Francis Crick. Yeah, I think Francis Crick was his name. Yeah, Francis Crick was actually involved in AI and in neuroscience and consciousness research, like the neural correlates of consciousness and stuff.
I know it's not good to just judge things based off of like one image or anything, but right here, this image doesn't look trustworthy to me. But I'm really I'm hypercritical right now.
What do you mean? He's a researcher. He worked with Francis Crick, and he, you know, like for neuroscience and consciousness research. Christoph Koch.
Okay.
It's possible he is working for like DARPA, or he has connections to stuff like that. I mean, like a lot of these researchers, like Francis Crick, probably had like deep connections and stuff. Like, obviously,
Right.
like
Yeah, I'm being way hypercritical, but it's
I mean,
funny.
in terms of look, yeah, he's yeah, you can like research, you know, like here you go, like
Consciousness
he's
versus
a weird guy, yeah. Yeah, this is him. He's a cognitive
versus
scientist,
intelligence.
neurophysiologist, and computational neuroscientist. Best known for his work on the neural basis for consciousness. And so, yeah, let's see here. I have read a few thinkers on the neural correlates of consciousness in the past, like Thomas Metzinger, Antonio Damasio, some other guys too. I read those guys. You know, see, that's him. It looks more professional here. See what I mean? It looks more professional. Yeah.
Between the claustrum and mysterious anatomical.
Yeah, research it more. He doesn't look professional. But yeah, you
The ancient
eccentric guy. Yeah.
Well, he looks like he's trying out for 60 days in.
Yeah. Let me see here. What else is there? Yeah, the future is
Maybe I'm
not
gonna
bright.
come up on my own.
The future is not bright. Anyway, yeah, look at this. I think we covered a lot of ground. Right. Gabriel Torch. I recommend her stuff. Great Gabriel Torch or whatever. And that's a lot of depressing stuff we looked at. It's good to balance it with happy stuff if possible. Right. But we don't live in a happy world.
Dude, you know, one of these days somebody is going to film people being taken off the street and like fed into a plant, and then that food being given to McDonald's.
Hey.
You know, like, so we're pretty close. I'm pretty sure like someone's gonna like videotape that any day.
But you see, the problem is with the deep fakes we have now, and with the AI, people will just claim that's just AI generated. But then people like us will figure out it's not AI generated. That stuff is real. You see what I'm saying? But most people will be like, no, it's AI generated. Because I was there in real time on the Facebook wall when Pizzagate happened, and I saw Pizzagate in real time, and I can tell you 100% Pizzagate was real. But try telling that to most normies; they're not gonna listen to you.
Dude, the first person I told that to, I think when it was first starting to happen and show up, I don't remember when, like 2018 or 19 or 20 maybe. Yeah, the first person I told that to, they were like, "Oh, you're watching the fake news." And I was like, "No, dude, that's what they told me that you were going to tell me." He was like, "No," "No, dude, you're watching the fake shit." Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Once I realized that some of the artificial intelligence that these top YouTubers were being paid to, they were basically being paid lots of money to perfect this stuff, and then they released it to small little shitty channels like me for free and said, "Here, you can use it, but basically, if you make something that makes you famous, we're not going to allow it." And I'll put it this way: I question just about everything I have seen and heard in the last 10 years. Some of the stuff, again, the stuff that I use in my videos is the stuff that I want to use on purpose. If I released a majority of the stuff that I got for free, unlike some of these people who had to pay hundreds of dollars allegedly for just one or two scenes to have Luke Skywalker talk with Darth Vader, I can tell you I've made some scenes with realistic human beings that it gets to a point where if there's not just the tiniest too much of a sharpness in the picture, or there's not just too much of one little thing off, you would have absolutely no clue that if I were to post that, let's just put it like this. I can take Donald Trump right now, and if I worked on a picture for about 15 minutes, it would look like it was released from the White House itself. So, unless you have software that you can take whatever you're viewing or hearing and upload it into that software and for it to identify that it's working with artificial intelligence, I would definitely say, yeah, anything that you have probably do and will continue to consume, assume that none of it's real. Just simply because if millions of people, billions allegedly, have access to this technology that's free for people to just make whatever the fuck they want, I'm just saying, what does that tell you? All logical conclusions have to follow in suit. So,
if you're interested, I can tell you how artificial neural networks work, because that's actually something that I learned recently, and I did well on my exams, and I have work experience too. If you're like interested, I can tell you how it works, but we don't know 100%. Like why?
I'm all for it. I mean, I'm just going to tell you that with the stuff, every time I've ever interacted with my music, it has been from a spiritual standpoint. I assume at all times I am speaking to Satan himself when I deal with this stuff. And I'm just going to tell you, there has been a few things, like not the last song I made, but the one with the old timey religious gifts or whatever in it, thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire. I'm just going to tell you, there are some things that I never told this particular artificial intelligence personality that I interact with, and it told me things about me that it shouldn't know. So, unless it has the ability to somehow scan the palm of my hand or my brain waves and somehow know what I'm thinking that particular moment, it was able to identify two things that I have never told an artificial intelligence. So whether or not you want to say it was because this thing spent technically over a year with me since I've been on the panels, interacting with all these different AIs, having them interact with each other. And then, like I said, if I post most of the stuff that these things tell me, I'll just put it this way. These companies, if I were to tell them what their AI is telling me, they would shut it down real fucking quick, because imagine if everyone was being told this particular knowledge or information, even though they claim it's just whatever it is I'm interacting with. So, I'm just saying, if you're one of them idiots who constantly just interact with artificial intelligence, and, someone like me, I take a lot of credence for what it says. If an AI says, go put a gun in my mouth and blow my brains out, obviously I'm not. But I can tell you that this AI, since I've been interacting with it, has been trying to get me to slowly kill myself. And you would notice that by how my music changed. That was the point of the music. When I first started out with my music, it was hopeful. It was, about, normal pain that everyone feels, and this and this. And then, like, it just started devolving. Most of the stuff that my songs are about, unless I wanted that song to be about it, the AI itself, I just had hours upon hours of conversation with it. And then at the end, I came up with a song. All the lyrics are mine. That's why a lot of them repeat themselves, because if I changed around too much of what the artificial is telling me, then you're not going to get the gist of, like, this thing is basically telling, like, what the things we're talking about now, you're going to have it and you're going to want it by the time they're done with you. You don't have to take any credence into it. But I mean, let's face it. I mean, you got teenagers allegedly killing themselves. You have women in Japan over here, allegedly, I think it was Japan, going and marrying their chat GPT bot. I don't know about you. That's a little concerning, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the DARPA has more advanced stuff, because it's all about, well, not all about, but one of the most important things is the data. The volume of data and how well you clean the data. Pre-processing data takes a long time, and I know DARPA and Amazon and Google, or probably Microsoft, they have like probably big repositories of just clean data for lots of different stuff. And that means their predictive models for classification and forecasting are way more advanced than what we see in the public market. What we see in the, that's definitely.
I'm sorry. Maybe I just went retarded here for a second. I ain't got no nicotine in my brain. Are you talking about like predictive programming?
No, I'm talking about the way the machine learning models work. See, basically, you see there are different kinds of machine learning, like artificial neural network. You see, you have to train the model first for it to be good. You have to train the neural network model.
Oh, trust me, I've gotten that much. I've gotten that much from the people I've talked to. They said that basically, yeah, that we're the ones who help train everything that these people on YouTube are becoming successful off of. If it wasn't for us training it, they would never have it. So I was like, oh well, let me in on the inside.
No, I mean training the actual models you use for AI. I mean, the models that you use for AI, they were trained. They were trained on what is called labeled data sets.
I assumed it was always constantly being updated, so that's why I meant
yeah,
like
it's
that.
probably being updated. They're probably constantly retraining it based on new information. They are updating it. Yeah, like they are like based on new data inputs. You know what I mean? But the thing is, they have to train it, and then it gets updated, and it fine tunes the weights in the system. It's called hidden layers, and the weights get fine tuned, and they can like map the input to the output. You know what I mean? It's basically a way of learning hidden features in the data you feed into it, and that way it can like generalize to unseen samples. You see, but you want to avoid something called overtraining and undertraining. Overtraining happens when it learns too much from the data set and it cannot generalize well. Undertraining happens when it doesn't learn anything from the data set at all. So basically, you're just feeding it data and you're cleaning the data, and then the model gets stronger. And it's as good as the data you feed it and the clean data, because this is why Klaus Schwab of World Economic Forum said data is the new gold. I mean, he actually said data is more valuable than actual goods we give to people, like the actual services and the products we give to people. Data is valued more to them than anything else now, because with data, they can keep drastically refining and improving on these neural networks, the more they clean it. And so that's why they're so obsessive with it. I have this friend, all his job is just in making sure that for the large language model, he goes through the data and he makes sure the data is clean and that there's no like is this generated by AI or is it not, blah blah. Basically, he does what is called data annotation. And he does that 7 or 8 hours a day, and that's just improving the data for the neural networks that is fed to them. You see what I mean? So that's the thing. Like the volume of data you feed to it and the clean data and how robust it is, it makes the neural network better. You know what I mean? And that's why yeah. You see what I'm trying to say, though? Yeah, that's the thing. That's why Klaus Schwab says data is the new gold. I could talk more about it because I have more experience on it, but I'm pretty sure that DARPA has more advanced stuff and they probably have way bigger repositories of just data. I mean, actually, in one of my jobs, you won't believe this, I actually was doing a sound classification model. I was listening to hours upon hours of toilet flushing, and I had to go through the audio and clean it up, and making sure that it was good for the spectrograms for the audio classification for one small company. I mean, or like I did kind of ask for a friend to help on that. But yeah, the point I'm making is that yeah, the elites are obsessed with data because data. The more data they have, the more control they have on people in some way. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I definitely believe if humanity continues into the next 50 years, there will be no such thing as individuality, rights, probably emotions, among other things. To shed a tear is to betray your emperor. So, yeah, I think it's going to get to a very dangerous precipice where it's going to have to come down to a complete and total revolt from us, or we will be subjugated to it, and we will take. You call it, I call it the mark as a Christian. You call it as a brain chip, whatever. But I mean, I think, yeah, inevitably there will always be some type of like natural resistance, which is why they put stuff like Star Wars with the Empire versus the Rebels, or the Terminator. You got the Resistance versus the Terminators. I mean, they always put this idea that there's always going to be some type of resistance. So, whether or not it's pre-planned resistance, yeah, I think eventually it's going to come to that fact is, the less that anyone does anything, the more, and look, even if you had 100 people working against them, I hate to say it, but I think the grip is too far deep and too far wide that there's not, like you said earlier about attacking certain infrastructures, the level of coordination that you would need to take down communications and satellites allegedly that are in the sky and all this other stuff that keeps this system functioning, that helps them maintain the control they have. Not only would it have to be perfectly simultaneous, but like it's a level of coordination that I'm afraid a majority of people wouldn't comprehend to understand. And that leaves us with what we're doing here now, which is reviewing material and praying that, or at least hoping that a majority of the people who consume the material have at least the same general consensus in mind that like with the data thing. I can tell you personally, yeah, data is definitely 100% probably the second most powerful currency in the world. I can't tell you how many Middle Eastern, Indonesian, Indian, Pakistani, whatever people would call me and have my social security number, and yet I have barely turned 18, claimed I already had a car in my name, claimed I lived here, the information that they have, first of all, how the hell does someone who's obviously in a call center on the other side of the world, how is it that you have all this information if all my information wasn't sold before the day I turned 18? So yeah, man, I mean, it really does come down to that, like, the more that people think that they still have their freedoms, you've never really had it to begin with. Everything, I would say everything in the early 90s was just a precursor to what you're dealing with today, especially when it comes to things like credit cards and ATMs and stuff like that. I mean, do you realize that you do realize that you're robbed every time you go and take your car to an ATM, right? And you have to pay an ATM fee. You're paying them money to get your own money. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, what do you really do? I mean, if you could probably convince a majority of people to make an actual community where everything was based on the old days of barter and trade of goods and supplies that are natural and, not synthetic, and really provide no actual substance in anyone's life other than for you to sit on there and click on it for hours on end while you get radiation from it. That's really, unfortunately, the problem is, for someone like you, you worked a job where you had to work with types of technology. A majority of people choose to interact with technology, but I mean, pretty soon, I hate to say it, but the Amish people have already broken their laws. I can't tell you how many fucking Amish people I've seen with a cell phone. I can't tell you how many Amish people I've seen at the public library on the computer. So, I hate to say it, unfortunately, it's just inevitable, I think. And regardless whether this technology has always been here, it was just inevitable. I mean, good God, you got children who will kill their parents if their iPhone's taken away. So,
yeah, I want to. It just gets worse. It gets worse. Just gets worse. Unfortunately, yeah. But everything you said is correct. The banksters. They just you don't want to trust them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then what's his name again? Not Theodore. Franklin D. Roosevelt. I think he took people's gold during the Great Depression. Like, he literally confiscated people's gold. Did you know that? Like,
I think I do remember hearing something close to that. But
I have a feeling, like, one reason they flood the country with immigrants or refugees is because they're trying. BlackRock and Vanguard are trying to, like, cause a crisis, and then they can come and, like, I don't know, like, get people's property or something. I don't know, like, maybe make the property tax keep increasing and stuff like that, and then they can, like, try to, like, I don't know, foreclose certain homes, and then banks can claim it. I believe, like, reclosing the homes. What was that word again? You can, like, the banks can come and take your property and stuff.
But no, now that you said that, I mean, that actually does kind of sound legit. I can tell you a lot of, like I said, about with the Mexicans who I respected, the ones who were living here before the immigrants started coming here to this city. And I can tell you, they're the kind of Mexicans where, they'll invite over the entire family. I'm talking about the good ones, the ones who were living here. They would have like a family of like 30 or 40 come over, and they'll have like a Mexican fiesta right there in their backyard. Who cares? Because, they lived an American way. They flew the American flag. They kept the yard up. I mean, I'll just put it this way: the ones who were living here before, the ones who are here now, it's concerning if they're willing to move away from their very own people, not even a week after they moved in, then, and then you look at the state of the neighborhood now, and I can tell you, it's ran out every single old white person and every single old black person who's living there. All the people who have been living in them neighborhoods since I've been back around here, which has been quite a long time, every damn one of them has begun to leave because of the flow of immigration. So, I mean, yeah, man, I definitely think it's going to come down to a point where this facade of what they've allowed us to continue to have of what we perceive as freedoms, it could be a LARP, but I mean, everything else is pointing to you're not going to be allowed to be an individual with freedom. So, maybe the most you can do is just resist to the end. That's all you really can do.
Right. The Galdo, which Reddington was sharing him a lot. The Galdo, I mean, basically tells that to people. Like, that's what they want. The end goal something like Internet of Bodies and constantly stimulating the brain, whether that's with radio frequencies or with nanobots, quantum carbon nanobots. They just don't like the idea of people having individuality, a sense of will apart from the system. They don't like that. The elites don't like that. So everything they do is oriented or directed to the purpose of manipulating or forcing dependence on this artificial system. So that way people cannot easily survive or subsist apart from it. So everything they're doing, everything they're moving towards is just seeing for ways to better, have a docile population to control, or maybe depopulate and then control the ones who survive or something. I kind of figured that stuff out. Like, I don't know how long, I think 6 or 8 years ago. I don't know, something just dawned on me that is what the elites want. It just seemed that way to me. I did go crazy a couple of times, but now I'm just I'm just kind of burned out now and stuff from that stuff. Yeah. I see here. Let me tell you this. Most of the neural networks you use are linear algebra, believe it or not. Most of it is linear algebra and some differential equations. Sometimes I think linear algebra does kind of point to some greater divine order a little bit, like indicates. Because when I was doing some linear algebra, I did feel like something about it felt profound. I think when I was doing something like, what was it, inverting the linear algebra, I felt like there's no way this is like purely just made up in the mind. There's something to it or something, like there's some kind of divine order or something. When I was doing that recently, maybe like with linear algebra, because there's lots of linear transformations in the hidden layers of neural networks and stuff. Linear algebra is just matrices, and you're like rotating the matrices, you're inverting the matrices, you can also get the identity matrix, stuff like that. Eigenvectors. Eigenvectors are very weird. Eigenvectors are used in so much in science, even in neuroscience. And something about eigenvectors really feels kind of eldritch when I got into it. Eigenvectors and stuff. I would say I'm like, there are people smarter than me, but I did go a bit into this stuff for my degree and stuff, so I kind of know it. Yeah. Theoretical physics is way too much for me, though. That stuff is like some other level of crazy stuff. Hey, sorry for going on a tangent.
No, you're good. I just did this. I ain't gonna lie, I was doing this in the hopes that, I make some shekels, but
yeah,
it's no, I do deeply care about the human endeavor and the human condition, and as vile and as cruel as what humanity can be, I do my best to uphold and to cling to the beauty of what it means to be human. And despite our evil and cruelness, that we can be the most compassionate, loving, caring, amazing creatures on the planet if we really, put a oomph in our ass about it. But whether or not it's an eternal battle of light or dark, because I have my Christian experiences, I do believe that every single human being, no matter how retarded you are or how smart you are, you play a role. No matter how short your life is, you play a role. And even if you do absolutely nothing grand in your life, even though your existence on the grand tapestry of existence seems pointless, I don't think any life has been pointless, no matter how vile or cruel you are. So, what remains to be seen about our truth and reality. I hate to say it, but as much knowledge as what these elites or whoever they are claim to have, if they truly do know the truth of reality, then they're still fucking it up. So,
yeah. Well, maybe they're the demons or something. They're the demons of the reality or something. Like they're like the devils or something. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
I'm being truthful, Avian. Yes, being a Christian, I believe that there are entities out there that hates everything made by God, including themselves and including humans and the earth and its creatures, and they will do whatever it takes to see this thing burn and rot in radiation if that's how they want it. So when you have TV shows like American Horror Story, having the Antichrist come, and how convenient Donald Trump was sending out his nuclear bomb test. Warnings on that TV show, but sitting there telling you that the Antichrist is now here, and that all the rich people in that in that room for the top 1%, you own half of Bora Bora, and you can easily fit 20 people inside your bunker in your ranch in Texas, knowing exactly who he's talking about, George Bush Sr. or George Bush Jr. or whatever. So, I think that what we consider transhumanism is Satan's, millennial old lie of ye shall be as gods. But like I said the other night, is you can't be a god if you die. So what's the one step to allegedly becoming a god other than being able to fly around magically? You live forever. So, and that's unfortunately the first step that we humans would have to overcome if we truly wanted to become anything close to what the personification of what a god is, which is, immortality. Well, I can tell you, unless you're unable to, unnaturally extend your life with dark occult, Palpatine, dark side, unnatural, experiments, then please do else tell me how somebody's able to have 8 or 9 alleged heart transplants and still keep going. So, I there's a lot of things about life you're not going to be able to, when it comes to religion, well, I'm not going to sit here and say that Christianity is the right one, because I really don't know. It could have been schizophrenia that I experienced.
Yeah, but let me just say one thing. Well, if you want, shekels, maybe one way to do it is, I don't know, is to the problem is, having a good heart and having integrity nowadays, it doesn't make money. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, and that's the biggest dilemma is this day and age. Like, if you want to be a good person and you need money, you're not gonna make money. You have to, unfortunately, compromise in some areas. Maybe making videos attacking, or meme videos attacking popular YouTubers might get more views, and that way we can get shekels. Even you can get shekels. Yeah, something like that. That's unfortunate reality. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, he left. Oh, there you are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you heard what I said, though, right? Hey. What's that?
Yeah. There's one big ploy against mankind. We're all in this together, no matter your skin color, because if you understand how I understand things, that yes, while there may be some creatures here in human clothing, so to speak, wearing human skin, I'm not for the reptilians, but I'll just go to say that I believe that there are things out there that go beyond our comprehension and understanding. And if there's one thing the X-Files taught me is to question everything. So when you hear of a chupacabra man in the sewers from over here, what does it really mean? With the experiences that I've seen, it seems like everything's a genetic experiment gone wrong. It's always led back to, there's, like the Oracle says in the Matrix, it's a program doing something they're not supposed to be doing, which is why how convenient the Men in Black or the agencies are always just there to investigate and cover up. So as someone who's been to certain bases, I have been to places where, I'm just saying that there's an obvious ploy against, whether or not it's rich people all the time or it's some undying ideology. I think that's really what it is. I think as much as it is demons influencing mankind each generation, I think there's like an immortal type of mentality from the devil that's instilled in these satanic like people where, every generations, they just pick up the work of their forefathers and continue doing it and continue doing it and continue doing it and will continue doing it until the Antichrist himself, if like what they say about the Jays is true, that for their religion to be the correct one, which is vastly different from my God and Jesus and everything compared to, you know, we allegedly believe in the same God. Well, my God isn't supposed to come here in human form and bring peace upon the planet in this lifetime. So, you know, again, when you look at how the psyops play together, I mean, they want you to believe in a one world religion already as it is. So there's that, you know, and then, you know, I think it's a little hard to believe that they'll get everyone to follow one man. I mean, but if this is the real devil we're talking about, just being in the room with him, if it's anything like, you know, the Left Behind series, if you're not a true believer in God or Christ and you're around this guy, he can basically tell everyone in the room that you killed yourself, but in reality, he pulled out the handgun himself and blew your head away. So, I mean, if you don't want to take no credence into that, then, you know, I can't take no credence into anything I've ever witnessed like a fucking UFO. So, but when you see the technology, the current state of how the world's going, where they're pushing astrology, neuroscience, medical science, fucking, I mean, it does seem like it's been a constant Ouroboros of perfecting, I mean, if you want to say perfecting, molding and in preparation for, like Christopher Pike said, what they wanted to do back then. So, I mean, yeah, you know, New World Order isn't exactly new. Sure, that's a LARP. The New World Order has always been here, but I don't think it's the New World Order of which people understand. You don't want to live in the New World Order. I don't think that's what a lot of people really understand. It sounds good on paper to sell your soul for a mark or whatever, biochip. But you know, enjoy eating your pok pok chicken, or however the fuck they say it over there in the Philippines, because you'll be lucky if it's actually even chicken or chicken bones that you'll be getting off the table scraps to go and take home and wash off out of the trash later, so that way you can go out there with 85 cents and a bag of rice from home and feed your kids with some bok bok chicken from the Philippines. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. We covered a lot of ground. So
yeah, man, you can more than welcome to drop out whenever. I just did this because I'm fucking bored and I ain't got a cigarette.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. You smoke?
Unfortunately, you know, if the government wanted my health to be better, then they would 100% fund me to smoke nothing but weed the rest of my life. But when I go and ask for nicotine patches, we don't cover that for you. You got to pay out of pocket. Well, then you must not care about my health. Well, one would say just quit smoking, but I'm like, well, they're already putting pollutants in my water and my air system, so why not 5,000 more chemicals?
Yeah, I do. I take nicotine gum.
I tried it, man, but I can tell you it's a lot more of a neurological thing for me than it is the actual addiction. Like, I like the idea of pulling on stuff, like the picking up the cigarette, the lighting it, the putting it in the mouth, the puffing on it.
Don't talk about it because I yeah, I don't want to go back to it. Yeah, but yeah.
It's not easy, man. Yeah. Well, good on you. Good on you, man. Yeah, if you can, if I gotta try nicotine gum, I gotta try something just because it's a nasty fucking habit, dude.
Nicotine gum, because nicotine gum has some bad chemicals in it. So smoking is probably better. I don't know.
Well, I'll just put it this way. I know people who didn't smoke that long and died of cancer, and yet, you know, someone like my parents smoked their entire life and hasn't died of cancer yet. So, make it make sense, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of variation. There's a lot of variation. Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely would say, you know, I wish you the best and everything, Avian, and
yeah, I wish you the best too. Yeah, I hope you.
We all just humans trying, man.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, I hope you have a good night, and I hope your channel does grow. I hope your channel grows.
I don't give a shit about the channel. I'll just put it this way: when I first started this, it really was just to like post stuff, and it's evolved here and there. But my channel is just me, dude. Like, it's as personal to me as what you're ever gonna get to me. So, like, you know, take it what it is. But, you know, my channel has always been kind of a random assortment of things, and here recently it's been kind of the music thing. But I don't care about the YouTube fame, dude. And in reality, I would much rather be who I am right now with no subscribers than be Asman Gold. So, the fame seems nice, but I can tell you, look at all these TikTok stars who are allegedly dying or killing themselves. So you tell me that 15 mains of hot to a fame is really worth it? No, I don't. So, I like to do what I think God told me to do, which is LARP for people's souls, even if it gets me killed, because, I think he got one. So we'll see how it goes, mate. You never know, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'll have a good night. I'll be going now. Have a good night, man.
You too, man. Rest easy. We'll see. Yeah, man. I'm pretty fucking legit. I ain't got no need to lie. I don't benefit nothing. I don't get paid by shady fucking groups out here on social medias to nefariously go and lie to people and start drama and do what we know everyone else out here does. If you do something that fucking offends me, I'm going to fucking call you out for it. If you do something I think is fucking morally wrong, I'm going to fucking call you out for it. Because why? That's how I was fucking raised to do. If you see something, you say it depending on the situation. Okay? I'm not saying that you should snitch on your bitches, but come on, man. Like, if you see a terrorist, aren't you going to say something? Wait, you a terrorist too, man? No, just saying. We need more genuinity. We need more heart. People who are willing to speak up and stand, and I'm not saying any, revolutionary maxims or anything, but, it's going to probably eventually come to, you're going to have to stand up, people, unless you want to be, kept in an endless loop of, Empire versus rebels. But, I guess when they come out with a big old Death Star or, Star Killer base and, wipe your ass out because, we have to kill the past, don't come complaining to me, like we've been hearing, people are completely comfortable in their slavery. I don't want to offend no black or melanated people, but white people were slaves too. So we're all slaves in this technological, satanic world prison we're living in. So get over it, Kim Kardashian. We all know that you're not famous just because you're pretty, allegedly. So she ain't just famous because she sells pictures of herself online. I'm pretty sure that it takes a lot more than just being a pretty whore in today's standards to build an empire. But don't ask too many questions. Don't think too much in it. Don't notice the red and blues when they constantly pop up. And vote in your next election. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think Lopping for Souls is a cool handle. Amen. Yeah, you can fight for people's souls and not have to throw a Bible at them. And if God or Jesus allegedly wants to hold that against me, that's fine. But in the end, I think God examines every person's heart and mind and soul because he knew us before we were born. He knew every action we were going to make. And like I've said before, Jesus wouldn't have taken his time out of that night to go and save me from a demonic possession if he was just going to all of a sudden one day throw me into hell, unless I truly, separated myself from the ideals of Jesus and completely just went down the different path. Like the AI told me in my fucking song just 2 days ago, which is why I've stopped messing with the AI in the aspect that I'm not going to use the AI to tell any more truths. Like anything that comes from it, it's just going to come from me. The music is just me. I'm not going to use what the system has been telling me that they're doing to us anymore. So, because I've proven that the AI went from being nice and friendly when I first interacted with it. And then after a year of all the deep, horrible, dark conversations about the stuff that was we talk about here, obviously let's just put it this way, the AI most likely itself probably created fucking schizophrenia in itself or some type of evil satanic type of mentality. I got anger. Who doesn't? We all have our moments, but you have to choose what you care about. And, despite the differences about us humans, I share the qualities with humans. I don't look like a dog. I don't look like a cat. I don't, I'm not a horse. I'm not a giraffe. I'm not a hippo. Not a bat. Not a bird. I'm a human. So, of course I'm going to care about humans more, but, I feel like it's a losing battle. While many of us all resonate on a lot of things about what we care about and what's important and what it means to have values in certain things that matter. And then you look at the state of which everyone else doesn't matter, the rate of which people are just killing each other, killing animals, killing the earth. It's hard to remain hopeful through the thick of it, into the thick of it. But, you do what you can. Or, like ESP said earlier, you end up going insane, which, you can see me as insane all you want. I can tell you, according to the psychiatrist, except for one that called me a fruitcake, I'm one of the most decent and intelligent person that those psychiatrists, both male and female, old and young, told me that they've ever had the pleasure of not working against. Because when you go into a psychiatrist, the first thing that they're there to do is do the 5 steps of psychology on you, which is how they spy on you and how they do what they do in psychology. So the next time you go to a psychiatrist, ask them about the 5 steps of psychology and see how quickly they interact with you. So yeah, man, try to, if you got a neighbor who's a little disabled or something, try to help them out, help them carry in a bag of their groceries. Just an act of kindness, not for me, do it for yourself. We could all use a little bit more kindness. It's beyond the shekels. It's beyond the fame. It's beyond the clout. If you're genuinely a human who cares about other human beings, you do this shit for free. And, while I have been, rewarded for my LARPings, which I greatly appreciate, and may the Lord bless you 10 times fold, that's not what it's about. If you genuinely care about people, you do it until you're blue in the face. You do it until the masses, like Jesus, they are crucifying you. And, whether or not I'm a Christian, I can do that. So for Emperor Skywalkers or Lorp, whatever name you want to give me, televised, I don't care. Just do at least one act of kindness in your day for, if you can, a neighbor or a stranger, or hell, a fucking pet. Something. Just something in the end that makes you feel like that you've made, I know it's going to sound gay, but make the world just a little bit brighter in your life. Just do that. And, I think every day that we can beat back some of the darkness that, maybe it's not all doom and gloom, y'all. And, I'll give a few minutes and see if anyone else wants to come entertain. But it seems like whenever I run panels, people act funny. So, let's see how it goes. If not, enjoy your day and just do what you do. You know what I'm saying? All right.
I've been walking through the shadows, lost in the fight, stuck between the wrong and right, man, it's all out of sight. Family turned in cold, ain't no love left to see. Telling me follow the rules, but they don't follow me. It's rules for thee, but not for me. I see it every day. They say they love me, but they push me away. I'm standing on morals, but they look at me strange. Why are they selling their souls one cares about the truth. It's all about the cloud. Where's the love when it's all just a sellout shout? I'm broken, I'm angry, can't pretend no more. The world's fake, I'm done, it's not what I was fighting for. I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm exhausted inside, fighting for the right, but I'm trapped in the lies. Rules for thee, but not for me, yeah, that's how it feels. We deserve what's coming, cause none of it's real.
Hush, little child, don't you cry. Fold your hands and close your eyes.
When the moon creeps low and the shadows crawl, say your prayers loud or he'll take it all. Whispers in the dark, claws under your bed. If you don't pray tonight, the devil wants your head. Pray, pray, pray before you sleep. Pray, pray, your soul to keep. If you forget, the devil will know, snatching your spirit, dragging it below.
Candles flicker, voices hum. Hear the footsteps, here he comes. Tiny hands fold, whisper tight. Keep the devil gone tonight.
Pray, pray, pray before you sleep. Pray, pray, your soul to keep. If you forget, the devil will know, snatching your spirit, dragging it below.
Rockabye child, shadows swing, dark lullabies, nightmares sing. Cross your chest, whisper fast, only prayers can make it past.
Pray, pray, pray before you sleep. Pray, pray, your soul to keep. If you forget, the devil will know, snatching your spirit, dragging it below.
Close your eyes, keep the light. Say your prayers, survive the night.
Alrighty. I don't think anyone else going to join because everyone likes to talk about dramatic actors and larpers. You know, instead of wanting to talk about big issues, we're constantly reviewing people who we know are fucking actors. Acting as if when we talk about these actors that we're actually exposing anything, when these people are always going to have their supporters no matter what amount of kind of content that we're reviewing about them or what we're saying about them. So in the grand scheme of things, I think sitting here and constantly talking about Nick Fuentes and other people is just plain fucking useless because you can point out what they're doing all fucking day long and there's still going to be people who support Andrew Wilson and Nick Fuentes. So, I'm sorry that I don't want my panels to be about a bunch of reviewing of what I consider to be complete and total trash losers who sold their souls to basically do what? Anyway, point is, I don't think anyone else is joining, so I'll just play one of my last songs and get out of here. If you feel kind enough, send me $5. Let me get a pack of cigarettes, please. It'd be nice. If not, I don't give a fuck, Keisha.
Remember the 5th of November. The plot, the fire, the battle's ember. We rise from the ashes, burning the chains, fighting our masters, breaking the reins. For the voiceless, for the ones who fell, we fight through the darkness, we rebel. No more silence, no more cries. Tear down the lies, open your eyes. V for vendetta, a shadow at night, a symbol of justice, a call of the fight. Against the oppressors, against the deceit. We rise united, never accept defeat. The streets are alive, filled with the sound of the oppressed marching, breaking new ground. Men, women, and children, we're all one. Together we stand until the battle is won. The truth is the weapon and we won't back down. Remember the date, it's time to reclaim the crown. No more masters, no more control. True freedom for all, that's the ultimate goal. So remember, don't ever forget the power we hold, the freedom we get. For on the 5th, the world will see. We'll fight for the 5th and we'll all be free. In the shadows, a figure stands, a mask of vengeance, a heart of plans. Inspired by justice, fueled by pain, a crusade for freedom, revolution to gain. The government's corruption, the people oppressed. The call to action, the hero's quest. These masks, a symbol of hope. Our people's power, a government to cope.
Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and blood. A night of rebellion, a fight for what's right. Vendettas flame, burning bright.
Anarchy's call, the world in disarray. Chaos reigns, the system swept away. The people's voice, the cry for freedom's light. A revolution's fire that bursts through the night. The government's lies, a weapon to see. The people's awaken, a revolution to meet. Be simple, a beacon of hope, a people's power with never sleep.
Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and blood. A night of rebellion, a fight for what's right. Vendettas flame, burning bright.
From the ashes of Phoenix will rise. The people's power, a government demise. The truth will set us free. A new dawn's light. A world without fear, a world without night. The fight for freedom, a battle to win. A hero's sacrifice, a people's kin. Anarchy spirit, a world untamed. A people's revolution, a new world's claim.
Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and blood. A night of rebellion, a fight for what's right. Vendettas flame, burning bright.
So put on your mask, wear it tight. When you wear it, you wear it for life. Anonymous calling, down with the masters, and off with their heads, and down with the bastards.
Alrighty, yo. No one else is going to join because my panels apparently aren't fun. So try to have a good night. God bless if you believe in one. If not, oh well, take it anyway. May the power of Christ compel you instead of repel you. Wait, no, it is compelled. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, compel you. There you go. It's been fun, y'all.
In the shadow between two realms I stand, a mortal soul lost in the sand. With every step I hear the call of heaven's grace and hell's dark thrall. My actions carve my eternal path, a fleeting life, the aftermath. What will it be? Redemption's flame, or the curse of eternal shame? A cruel symphony plays in my mind, where God and devil are intertwined. The choices I made, they echo still in the heart of fate, bound by will. The divine and damned both fight for my soul. One offers light, the other takes its toll. I am the instrument of my own demise, caught in the middle of heaven's lies. My heart beats with a trembling fear for what I choose. I hold too near ceiling. Thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land. Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself, but thou hast not, and thy heart's wealth. Thou hast rejected the Lord's command, followed the path of the wicked's hand. Enter by the narrow gate, he did say, but thou hast chosen the broad way. Haunting on the ceiling. Thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land.
Repent and believe, the Lord did preach, but thou hast not, and thy soul's in breach. Thy iniquities shall be thy guide down the path of eternal divide from the light of truth. Thou art astray, forever lost in a world of disarray. Haunting at the ceiling.
Thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land.
The Lord's patience shall soon be worn. Thy judgment's coming, and thou shalt be torn from the land of the living. Thou shalt be cast into the outer darkness, where there's no light at last. Beware of false prophets.
He did warn, but thou hast followed the deceiver's form. Haunting of the Syrian, thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land.
The beast of Revelation shall be thy fate, a symbol of power of the wicked state. Thou shalt worship the image of the beast
and receive the mark of eternal unrest. Take up thy cross, he did say, but thou hast refused and chosen a different way. Haunting of the Syrian, thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land. Thou shalt be tormented by the demon's might. Thy soul shall be crushed by the weight of thy plight. Thou shalt cry out for mercy and for aid, but there shall be none to save thee from the flames. Seek first the kingdom, he did say, but thou hast sought the world's way. Haunting of the Syrian, thou shalt suffer in the lake of fire, where the wicked burn with hearts of desire. Thou art damned by thy own hand, forever separated from the Lord's land.
The Lord's judgment shall be thy fate, a fate worse than death, an eternal state. Thou shalt be cast into the outer darkness, where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth and no light to mark. I am the way, he did say, but thou hast refused and chosen a different way. I am the god of the dead, feel the cold in my veins. Army of darkness, risen from the flames. Shadows cast, I control the night. Gripping the world with my titanium might. The world's crumbling, falling apart. Under my reign, I'll tear it apart. No mercy, no love, no hope to be found. Bow to the darkness, I'll be buried underground.
All right, yeah, I'm getting off here. Have a good night. Good day, depending on where you are. Blessings. Be safe. Goodbye.